In this course we are going to build a simple Hacker News clone called Django News. In this project you can create news stories, you can see the news stories that is here, and also the front page is listed out based on how many points the story has. You can vote on stories and you can unvote them. And if you go into one of these, you can also add comments to them. Test comment. And you can also see when it was created and similar. If you want to, you can create accounts and you can also log in and log out. The submit functionality has possibility to create URLs or texts. Okay, so the first thing we can begin with is to install Django and set up everything. So first I want to create a virtual environment. So Python 3-m venv, and then the name it can just be env. I'm in a folder now called Django News, which is the name of the project. And then activate it by saying source env bin activate. And then I can install Django by saying pip install Django. This will now install the newest and stable version of Django, and also a few dependencies that Django has. And once this is done, I can create a new Django project. So Django admin start project Django News. And then I can go into it, Django News, like that. So then I have the manage.py and the main folder here. I also know that I want a core view, a core app for some of the views, so I can create that first now. So Python manage.py start app core, and each of this, for example this and this and this, is a story. So I want to create one more app for each of the stories. So Python manage.py start app story. Don't think that I need any more apps right now, at least, because the comments and the votes should just be inside the same app as the story. So then I can just go to Visual Studio Code, where I have opened a project, and go into the settings file and add the two apps I created to the installed apps list. So core and story. So now Django knows that this exists and we're going to use them. So that means that I now can start building the front page. So if I just go to views.py, then I can create it here, def index, request, return render request, and then the name of the template, which is core/index.html, and I don't need to pass in anything there yet. So then I just need to create a template, templates, core to refer to this folder, and then the template, index.html. And I want it to extend a base.html file, so I can just do that first. Extends core/base.html, and this file, the base file, should include the header and the footer and similar. So I can create that file before I forget it, base.html. And here I just want a simple version of Tailwind. Already have it open here. So if I just find a quick start, I can just use the play CDN since I'm just testing it out now. So copy everything there, paste it. Just want to fix the indentation like that. And then inside the body, we have the nav at the top, nav, the footer at the bottom, and in the middle we have the main. So in here I can also create a block content, just so I have it. So I have something to extend, and the block. And up here I want a title for the page as well, so title, block title, and block can default be empty, but I want to have a default text at the right side of the title, which can be Django News. Now we can close this. Hit enter, and then I need to do one more thing before I can test this, and that is to create a urls.py file for Django.conf URLs import path. And then I want to import the views we just created. So from .import views, and I want to set the app name for this app to core so that I can use namespaces when I refer to different parts of it. So then it's just the URL patterns left. Path. So when the URL is empty, I want to use views.index, set the name to be index. Save. Last step then is to open up Django News again, find the urls.py, and below here I can say path, and when the path is empty I want to go into this URLs to see if there is any match, and then I'll just include core.urls. See, I get a warning here because I haven't imported this yet, but now I have. So now I should be able to run the server, measured by run server. So you get the warning here because I haven't initialized the database yet, but I will do that soon. But now I can copy this address, go to the browser, hit enter, and then you see the base file here, which doesn't have anything yet because we haven't added anything to the index file. So here I can say block title. Let me see what Hacker News calls their front page. They don't have anything there, but we can say welcome and for, and then the end block content. This should be and block, of course. Sorry. And below here and block. And then just to make sure that the Tailwind is working, we can create a new div py6bg teal 500. Just add some random data there. So if I now go and refresh, you can see up here that we get the block title and Tailwind is working because now we get the green color here and everything is inside the body there. Perfect. Okay, so then we can begin working on this menu. So if I go back to base, then I know that it's going to be up here in the nav. Maybe we should have a little spacing in there. So class P1. If that's a command, maybe we need P2 or just P. I will test it out. BG orange 400. And then on the left side we have the logo and a few links. So div, this is for the left side. And then ahref, can just go to nothing right now. Django News, okay, close that. If I go back and refresh in here, then you see that we get the orange up there, the Django News, but it doesn't look like we got any padding. Let me try to add P-1. Refresh, and now we have a little bit padding. Nice. So the text in here is black, just like we have it, but we can have the font for this to be bold. So class font bold. There, so now that's bold. Now we can have these links next to this. So href class, don't need any classes there, probably good. New, this will show the newest stories. Then we can also have the submit button. I'm not going to have all of these in this project. So ahref submit. Let me see what this looks like. Okay, so Django News, new and submit. We want these pipes between these. And this should have some space next to this one. So margin right 2. Okay, so now it looks a little bit better, except that the last one there of course doesn't need the pipe. Nice. And then we want the login button on the right side. So div ahref login, close it, save. And this will not work now. it will just go down here. So I need to introduce Flexbox to this project now. To do that, we just say flex and then items center. This makes sure that they are on the same height. And then to move this all the way to the right, we add something called justify between. Like that. So then we take all available space and put it between these two divs. Okay, so the space, the page has a little space around it. So we need to add that as well. Div class p-1. This can just wrap the whole project like this. So it's starting to look like something, but it should also have a max width. So in here, no, this one, max w LG, I think it's a size. That's a little bit too small. XL. 3 times XL. That's there. Okay. And then if we just set this to be on the middle of the screen by saying margin X auto. So now it starts to look like this menu. The orange is a little bit off, but it's not the main thing about this tutorial anyways. And then I just need to find this background color, text, BG color. Let me try to see if there's anything that can match a little bit. Slate, no, gray, neutral, stone, maybe, yes, actually maybe just BG 100, BG orange 100. The class for the body can have this. No, that's not correct. The main can have this class like that. So if I now refresh, okay, this will not work, but if I do this now, just add some random text. Okay, so now that looks a little bit better. Before I continue, I just want to say thanks to all of my patrons. If you too want to support me, you will find a link in the description below. Okay, so now I just want to add a few of these and hard code them. So let me just copy the text for these so it's not too much to go back and forth. Div class. This needs to have some padding around it, so p-2. I don't need anything more. And then on the left side I just have 1, so p1 dot. And then I have the arrow for voting. Let me see if hero icons has some good things for this. Arrow. Okay, yes, we can use the chevron, this one. Close the paragraph. And then we have the title and then the URL. So P, just copy this. And then the URL should come right after like that. And then on the next line we have the points like this. And how many comments it has. Close and close that div. So I can just remove this. Probably need to redo a few things there. Yes, this does not look good. Okay, so we have these two could be in the same div. Div. And then I think that this should fill out the whole screen. So let me move all of these into one. And then we can add the flex here, flex. So a little bit better, but I want these two on the same line as well. So div class flex div, refresh, and then it's a little bit better. So these should also be on the same line. So I need a flex on this as well, class flex. Okay, it doesn't look perfect, but it's something. So these are a little bit more gray, and the same with these two. So let me fix that. This one, class text gray 500. And they also should be on this one. Oops. Save. So if I now refresh, we are starting to look like something. This link also needs it. href can just be empty for now. Close it. But we can add the class like that. So now it looks as good as it can be. We need a pipe between these two. And some space. So p class px3. So now it looks decent, at least. So that means that we don't need to do anything more here. So now I want to start working on authentication. So if I click the login button here, you can see that we are sent to a page /login where you can both log in and create an account. Maybe we should do it the same way. Or is it better to have the login here and the sign up? Yes, let's do that. It's a little bit better. So we can begin with the sign up.html. So I can copy a little bit here. Sign up and block. And then I can have a div here with a little bit of padding. H1 sign up. And then we need to create the view for this. So def sign up request return render request core /sign up.html, and we can add this to the URL. So path sign up / views.sign up, and the name can be sign up. So maybe we should also add this as a button up in the menu. Pipe like that, sign up. Now we can log, now use the URL function to core:sign up and save. So if I go back now, we should have a sign up button there, and if I click it, I should see the sign up title there. Nice. So now I want the sign up form below here that I can submit. So I'm just going to use the built-in that comes from Django. So from django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. And then I can say here form equals user creation form. Just empty for now. Then we can pass it in here so we can use it in the front end. And then it's a form method should be post, and action should be the page we are on. So we can close this. Okay, and then in here I need a CSRF token for security. And then I can just render this form as a paragraph. So form.sp, and then I want a button below here. So button submit. So go back and refresh. Then I have the form there. There should be a little bit more of a button, something like this. So class p-1 rounded SM, so a little bit rounded corner, border, and border color gray 400, and BG gray 100. And we need some space up to that one. So this should be darker, maybe 700. And we need some space at the top, empty 5. So now it looks not very good. Border gray 700 maybe, yes. Okay, that was correct, so we can make it a little bit lighter. So it looks a little bit more like that button. So that means that now we need to do some handling in the backend. We can just add some class styling to the title, font bold, MB4. Nice. So that means that if I go back here now, I need to do something here. I need to check if the user has submitted the form. So I do that by saying if request.method is post, then form equals user creation form, and we can pass in request.post. If it's not a post request, then it's a get request, and we can use the empty form like this. And you can check if the form is valid. And if it is, we can say form.save. And when that is done, we can redirect the user to the login page. So return redirect /login. So I get a warning here now. Need to import this together with render. It's one of Django's shortcuts. So now I should be able to sign up. Code with Stein. Submit. No such table auth user, of course. I haven't done this here. So Python mentioned by make migrations, and Python mentioned by migrate. Okay, so then I can run it again. Just refresh, and then I was redirected to the login page, which we haven't created yet. But since we was redirected, it means that the user creation was working. Next step then is login. And to do that, we need to use a view from Django. So from django.contrib.auth import .views, import login view and logout view. Then path login view .as view, like that. Then we can set a name to login. So if I now go back and refresh, I will get a different error. And this is not trying to find the login.html in this folder, which is default from Django, but I want to use the core instead. So inside this as view, you can choose a template name core/login.html. So if I now just make a copy of the contents of the sign up page, save it as login.html, then replace the title with login. If I now refresh, I'm here again. Nice. So if I now try to sign in with the user I just created, then I'm redirected to accounts/profile. This doesn't exist and it will not exist. So I need to tell Django where I want to be redirected instead. So login redirect URL is / which is just the front page. I can also set the login URL to /login. This is where I'll be redirected to if I go to a page without being authenticated. And I can also set the logout redirect URL to the front page if I log out. Okay. So close this one. And then I can go there. So now we have done this. So we can log in, sign up, and similar. So I guess the next step then will be to make it possible to actually send or submit something here. Okay, I just logged into my account here on Hacker News, and you can see that when I logged in, my username is here and I can also see the logout button instead of the login button, so I can fix that before we make it possible to add new stories. So here I can say if request.user is authenticated, else we show these two. So if I'm not authenticated, these will show. And I can fix this one, URL core:login. And if I am logged in, then I want to show the username. So ahref request.user.username. And next to this, I want to have a logout button. ahref URL core:logout. Logout. This will now crash because I haven't created the logout page. So let's do that now. Just need to go here and use this, which is built into Django. So path, logout, logout view.asView. And here I don't need to specify a template. I will be just redirect that to the front page. Set the name to logout. So if I now refresh, I should be able to log out, and I can also see my username here. Perfect. So if I then click submit here, you will see the form that I'm presented with. Leave URL blank to submit a question. If there is no URL, text will appear at the top of the thread. Okay, so I can choose between submitting a URL or a text. So then I need to create a form handling these three fields. I need a form and I need a model. So inside the story models, I can begin with that. I also need to import the user, so I connect the user to the model. So from django.contrib.auth.models import user. Then class story, pass in models.model. And then I want a field for the title. So title equals models.char field. Max length can be 255. And then I need the URL and the text. So URL equals model.url field. This can be blank equals true and null equals true, since the user doesn't have to fill it out. And text. Models equals text field. And this should also be not required, like that. And then I want to know when it was created and by who. So created at equals models.datetime field. Models dot, or not models, but auto now add equals true. So it's automatically filled out. And created by equals models dot foreign key to the user. And then I want to set the related name to stories. And on delete models.cascade. So if you delete a user, I will also delete all of its stories. So that is everything I need there. So if I now stop the server and run the make migrations and migrate again, now I have a new database a new table in the database. So I can run the server again. And then before I can show the form for doing this, or the HTML for it, I want to create a form. So forms.py from django.forms import model form. And I need to import the model we just created. So from .models import story and class story form model form. Then I need to set the class meta for configuration. I need to specify which model to use, which is the story, and which fields I want the user to be able to fill out. And that is title, that is URL, and it's text. Like that. So then I can save this. Now we can create the view for this. So here I can import the form we just created from .forms import story form, and then I can create the view for this. Def create, pass in the request parameter, return render request, and then the template, which will be story/create.html. Maybe I should just pass in the form, so I have it story form, form, and save. Before I create this, I just want to create a URLs file for this. So urls.py from Django.urls import path, and then I want to import the view we just created. So from.import views, and then the URL patterns path create slash views.create, and set the name to be create. And to separate this from other apps, to set app name to story. Okay, so now that is done, then I just need to create the template for this. I think I can just copy the login, for example. Go down to story again, create a new folder, templates, create folder in there, story, and then create.html. Then here I can say, oops, create story. Last step then is to go to the Django news URLs and import it here. Just copy and replace story.urls. And if I then go to base.html, I can just activate this button, URL story : create, and save. If I now refresh on Django news here, I should be able to click this. Then I can see the form, title, URL, and text. And then before I test this, I need to handle the backend for this. So go back to story views.py, if request.method equals post, else that one, then form equals story form. If form.is valid, then form.save, but this will now crash because we haven't set the created by yet. So here I need to set story equals form.save and commit equals false, so it's not sent into the database yet. But if I say story.createdby equals request.user and story.save, then it's done. So now I can redirect the user back to the front page, return redirect slash. So I need to import this up here. Oops, redirect. And I also noticed one more error here. First I need to pass in the request.post data so that Django knows what to do there. And you should have to be authenticated to visit this page. So we need to add a login required decorator here. Then I need to import this from django.contrib.auth.decorators import login required. Okay, so now hopefully it should be okay. Let me test submit. Vänligst fyll ut. This means please fill out this field, the title. Because now I was able to fill it out without the URL and the text, which is a little bit dumb, but I will have to come back to that. Right now it's possible to create, so now I want to load them and show them here on the front page. So if I go to the front page view, here I need to import the model. So from story.models import story. Stories equals story.objects.all. I can get the 50 newest one here, 0 to 50. Then I can pass them in, stories, and save. So now I just need to change the template to use this instead. So we can do that. It's around this one, yes, for story in stories. Fix the indentation. Fix that indentation and then close the end for. So if I save now, hopefully there should still be one. Yes. We can replace the title. That should be story.title. So now hopefully this is the one I created. Yes, the title. Perfect. Okay, so I should also show the URL there, if there is any. So if story.url, then we want to show this. And if story.url, and we want to show it here or print it, so story.url, save. So now it's not showing there because there are none. That means that it should be a text one, or at least just the title. Maybe that is enough. But let's just be like it is now. Then we want to show who created it and when it was created. To do fix, because we need to fix these points. But we can print who created it, story.createdby.username, and when it was created. So story.created at pipe this into time since. I go back now, refresh, fix this by coded Stein 2 minutes ago, and we need to fix the comments here. 0 to do fix, because we need to come back to this because we don't have comments yet. So now I want to be able to click this so I can visit the detail page, same as if you click this one. So the detail page is just this one with lots of comments here. So that means that down here in the story we should create a new template, detail.html. I can copy the top here. Here we can say story.title, and I want to show this inside H1. Close this, and block. So now we have the template just for testing. Then we can create a view. This does not require authentication, so I can just say def detail request and then the primary key, because I need to know which story to load from the database. Story equals story.objects.get pk equals pk. So now I need a model here as well. So from .models import story, and then I can render the template. Let me just copy this, paste it, detail, and here we want to pass in the story and not the form. So that's done now. And then it's the URL for this. So path int primary key. So when we get the integer called primary key, we want to use that view. So views.detail name detail. Okay, so now that's done. So if I now go back to the front page, the index.html, then I can make it possible to click the title there. So ahref URL story : detail, and just pass in the story.id here. So now I can close this, go back and refresh here. So if I click this now, I will be sent to the detail page. Perfect. Here we also need the same data as we have on the front page. So I should actually maybe just copy most of this. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, like that. And instead of doing the H1, we just do it like this. Here I don't need this one. That means I don't need this one. And this can go back like that. So now if I save, go back and refresh, we have all the information here with the up arrow and this. Okay, so below here I should probably show the description if there are any, or the text. So this should be located below the title. Okay, we can actually do it here. So elif story.text p story.text if there are any, which this doesn't have, so this won't do any difference. Okay, so now we have that base functionality in place. Maybe this should show, I don't know if this is points or stories that I have created, but let's make it points, so we have to come back to that. But we can activate the last page in the menu, the new, which should just show all of the newest. This should actually just show the top 50 for today, but we have to come back to that as well. But if I find index.html, I can copy this, paste and save it as new.html, and new, and save. And if I then go to the views.py, I can create it here. Let me just copy this, new, and this should have all new. Actually, this should just have the top 50 for today. Okay, I need to Google that. Django, how to get objects created today. Always forget this date time bullshit. So then import date time, do that at the top there. Today, then I do this, oops. Like that, and then I want to use the GT today. So filter created at, and this should just be greater than or equal today. I think that should be correct. New will take all. No, it should actually be the same down there. Just use the newest one. But they have to be created today. Okay, so now the front page will show the 50 newest, but new will show the all of them. When we have implemented voting, I will load the 50 most popular. So now that that is done, I can go to base.html, and then I can activate this URL core new, and this can go to URL core : index, and save. And now found core new. Why isn't that working? Maybe I forgot to add it here. Yes. Just a new / views.new, and name is new. Replace. No, refresh. So now this is in order. This is okay. So now everything seems to be okay. Perfect. Let me just submit one more. The second, then https stein.com, submit. Then you can see here that this is showing there. Perfect, and I can click it to be sent to Stein. If I go to new, then I want this to be at the top. So I need to fix the ordering for the new page. So new, then order by minus created at. So that will make the newest one at the top, no matter what the ordering says. But I also want to fix this number. So let me go to new. So instead of saying 1 there, I think I can just say for loop.index. I think this is the correct one. Nope. Django show for loop index for loop dot counter. So refresh, and then it's 1, 2. Great. So then it's working there. Let me copy this and use it at the front page. Nice. So now everything there is also okay. Then I can continue to make it possible to add comments. By the way, if you want to learn even more Django or Vue from me, you should check out my website codewithstein.com. The site has many premium courses and a lot of awesome blog posts. And for as little as $20 per month, you will get access to all of my content, and you will be able to track your progress, you can talk to me and similar. So go to codewithstein.com after the video and sign up. So this should be in the story. So in the models.py here, I need to create a new model, class, comment, model, models.model, and this needs a reference up to the story, so story equals models.foreign key, and this need to pass in the story database model. Related name can be set to comments, and on delete models.cascade. So if you delete one of the stories, all of the comments will also be deleted. I want to know who created this and when. So paste in these two, change the related name here to comments, and I want the text in here. I think that's basically it. This has to be required, so I can remove this and save. And I can also, no, let's just update the database, make migrations, migrate, run the server again. Run server. So now that I have that, I can create a form for this. So if I just find forms.py, import a comment model, class comment, pass in the model form, class meta. The model here is comment, and the fields we want the user to fill out is just text. The rest will be handled automatically or by us manually. So go to views.py, import the form we created, not in the core app, but there. Import comment form, and we can also import comment model in case we need it. So on the detail page, we can do what we do down here, check if the user has submitted something. So if request.method is post, then we can say form equals comment form, pass in the request.post data. But this should only be available if you are authenticated, but we can fix that in the front end instead. If form.is valid, then we can say comment equals form.save and say commit equals false, because here we need to specify the story, which points up to this one, and comment.created by should be request.user. Then we can say comment.save and redirect us back to the detail page. And we want to redirect, so you don't have to think about refreshing and similar. So return redirect, story detail, and then primary key is primary key, which just refers up to this again. And if it's not a post request, then we create an empty form like that. Why is this white? Okay, so this was supposed to be called comment form here. So now it's green and everything is working. So that means I can now pass it into the front end. So if I go back to the detail page, we can edit above the data here. Let me just go into one. You can see here, it's just below this information. So below this div, we can put it there. So form, method, post, action should be the page we are on. Then we need to add the CSRF token. Like that. And we can render the form.sp. And then we need a button. Let me take this from the sign up page. And close the form. So if I now go back and refresh, you should see the form there. Not very pretty, but it's okay. But I only want to show this if we are authenticated. So if request.user is authenticated, then we show this. Else, and if, and then we can add a P here. So you need to log in to submit a comment. So we are authenticated, so we don't see that right now. Maybe we need some padding around here as well. So div class p-2. Save, refresh. Okay, it doesn't look good, but it's working. And then below here, I want to list out the comments connected to this one, who created it, and the content. So let me just create one more of this. And then we say for comment in comments, but I haven't loaded these yet, but I can say story.comments.all. And for, and then we need to create a div for each of the comments, maybe with some spacing inside there as well. Class p2, they don't have any special background. On the top we have the username and when it was posted. Not sure what this is, but I don't need to think about this. Okay, yes. At the top we have the username and when it was posted. So I can copy this from whatever. Okay, and at least it's gray. So class text gray 500. Then I have the username. Comment.created by.username and when it was created. Comment.created at, pipe this into time since and say ago at the end. And then below we have the comment itself. So p class empty2. Oops. Comment.text. Close, refresh. Okay, there are no comments. Let me try to add one. The first comment, submit. And then I have it here. Coded Stein, 0 minutes ago, the first comment. Not sure if I'm going to have time to implement voting for the comments or reply, but we'll see what we can have time for. But now we have comments here. So now we can show the correct number up here. So instead of saying 0 comments, we can say story.comments.count. And the same on the other pages where this is shown. So the index page, we have this hard-coded. Oops. And on the new.html, this is hard-coded. Nice, 1 comment. Perfect. So that means that now we have a lot of the built-in functionality there. So now I want to start working on the votes. And you should only be able to vote 1 time. So we need to keep track of which one you have voted for. So let's begin with the model for this. So let me find the models.py in the story app. Class vote models.model. Can you downvote, or is it just upvote? Okay, so if you create a new vote, it's an upvote and you can remove it after, I think. Yes, I can unvote it. Okay, perfect. So then I need a reference to the story, this one, votes, and I need to know who created it and when. Like that, votes, story, votes in case I want comment votes as well. So I don't need anything more here, so let me save this and update the database, make migrations, migrate, and run server. So the first thing I can do is to just fix the votes here. So story.votes.count. This needs to be done on the index page as well. And on the detail page. So let me go back and refresh. Okay, 0 points, 0 points, great. So now I want to make it possible to click this arrow to actually vote on this story. So then I need a view for doing that, or should I just use the detail? No, let's create a separate view for this, so I can have the login required. Login required, def vote, request primary key, so I know which story to vote on. Then I can get the story by doing this. And then I want to check that you have not voted for this story before. And the best way to do this is probably that I voted already voted equals story.votes.filter created by equals request.user. If not already voted, then we can create a new vote. So vote equals vote.objects.create, story equals story, and created by equals created by. I get an error here, so this should be request.user, of course, but I need to import the vote model, vote, like that. And when that is done, we can redirect you back to the page you were on. So you could have come from the front page, the new page, and the detail page. So redirect page equals request.get redirect page empty. And then we can say return redirect page, and the default here should just be /, so if you haven't provided anything, you will be redirected to the front page. So I don't need to create a variable like that. So that means that now we need to import this to the URLs, vote, vote, and vote. Okay, so if we are on the detail page, then I can fix it here. href URL story vote, and pass in the story.id. And to make it possible to redirect this back here, I say question mark redirect page equals story. Okay, that's not very easy. Maybe I should say detail. And then I need to do some changes in the back end. Go to the views. If redirect page equals detail, then return redirect story colon detail primary key equals primary key. And then else, so if it's not the detail page, then we can redirect you to the redirect page, I think. So I can copy, sorry, I need to close the paragraph, no, the anchor tag. Copy this again and go to the new .html. So here I want to replace this one, close it correctly, and the redirect page here can be core colon new. So just copy all of this, go to index, and then I can do the same here. But here it should be core index. And this should also be lowercase n. So let me try this now. So if I click this, I have 1 point, nice. And if I click it again, it wasn't created because I've already voted for this. But if I have voted for this, I don't want this to show anymore. So that means that I need a check for that. But I can go here and try to upvote. And then I was redirected back here again. Perfect. But I can't vote anymore. But at least it's voting, but I do not want to show this anymore if it is voted. But how can I check if I have voted for a story? I would like to use a model function for this, but I can't pass in the request user here. So I might have to do it in the view here. Okay, so if I then just default say story.has voted equals false, and if, then I can do the same I did down here. So if this has there, then story.has voted equals true story. So now I check if I already have it, then I set this to true. So let me go to the detail page for this, and then I can do a check here. If not, story.has voted, and 4. Oops, and if, of course. So refresh, and then the arrow is gone because I have voted for this. Let me just try to submit one more here. So if I go into the ASTF, then you can see here that I can click on this because I have not voted for that. Perfect. So then I just need to do this for the other pages. So go to views.py on the index page. For story in stories. And let me do this for the new page as well. So if I go back now to the front page, it's not working because I need to update the template, of course. So this should be around each of these. And if, and the same with the index page. Refresh. So now I can upvote this, but not these two, because those have already been upvoted by me. Okay, so now things start to look like something. Let me just create one more user so I can start working on the points soon. Anonymous user. Okay, this will only work. This isn't working, I think, now. We just try to remove this for 2 seconds. Refresh. Yes, so it's this which is the problem. If request.user.is authenticated, of course we can only do it if we are authenticated. And the same down here. Great. So let me create a new user. Stein. Submit. And then log in. So if I now, you can see that this is the second part, but now this has 2 points. And I want this on the front page to be the top story now, so this has most points. And to order by this now, how should I do that? Django order by children count, maybe. Yes, okay, let me import this first. From django.db.model import count, so it's easy to count objects. And then here I want to say stories, story, so objects that annotate, number of children, count, vote set, order by num children. And I also want to filter, sorry, I want only 50 of these. And I need a filter as well. So let me see if this is working. Oops. Vote set, no. Votes. Chose. Votes. Yes, so okay, it's a little bit weird because this is double. But the ordering is correct. Okay, why is that double? Hope it helps, blah blah blah. Okay, maybe it wasn't working as I wanted. Okay, I need to add the distinct, I think. Maybe at the end there, distinct, because I only want one of each. Not correct. Okay, so I think if I was using MySQL or PostgreSQL, it would probably be working now. So I'm not going to do more with this right now. I will come back to it later. Okay, so now I have the votes, then I want to fix the unvote. So let me open up index.html. Then copy this. And then after the number of comments, we can p like this. If story voted, then we add one more of this. And then the link. Then you should have unvote and if. And this should also be placed on the new page after comments, and I want this on the detail page. New. This should be redirect back to new. And on the detail page it's a little bit different, but still very similar. Redirect page should just be detail. Okay, so now I need to create this. I can just fix it here first. Unvote, unvote, and unvote. And then last but not least, the view. So I can copy this. Unvote. Already voted. This should only run if I have voted. So then I need to get the vote equals vote.objects.get primary key is primary key. No, sorry, story ID should be pk, because that's the primary key in the URL, and created by needs to be request.user. Then I can say vote.delete. And then I want to redirect back. I don't need to check this actually, so it can just be like this, and I don't need a story. Like that. So let me try this. Okay, there are no link there. New. Okay, of course I forgot to add something here, and vote. Of course, that's quite handy to have. There, and on the detail page. Save. Refresh, and then I have the unvote. So if I now unvote this, then it's not voted by me anymore. So let me try to upvote it again, and then we have this double shit here again to fix. Okay, so now we need to fix this. It can't be like that. So let me go to the views.py for the front page, views.py in the core app. So why isn't this working? So I just want to have it on one screen here, so it's a little bit easier to read. Just want to remove this to make sure that this isn't the thing making it worse. No. And the distinct in there doesn't work. And the distinct here doesn't work. Stories equals stories.distinct. Oops. Cannot do it when a slice has been done. Okay, let's take away the slice. Still not working. Print stories. Just want to see what the console says. Story 2213. No, the same problem here, of course. Okay, actually when I think a little bit about this, instead of counting the votes for each of this, it would probably make more sense to keep track of this count in the model itself. So if I just open up the models here, then I can have votes, for example, number of votes, models.integer field, default 0. Default 0. And then we update the database, make migrations, migrate, and run server again. And then we can actually just order by this. So remove and dot order by number of votes. Okay, this will probably be much easier for the database to handle also. So now I just need the other views, because you need to increase and decrease this. So here we need a story dot number of votes equals story dot number of votes plus 1, story dot save, and then I need to get this when we unvote, and need to decrease this -1. So if I now refresh, then we also need to update this number. So instead of counting index.html, instead of counting it here, we can just say number of votes. So that was votes there. Sorry, oops, number of votes. This will now say 0 on each of them. And then on the new, I will fix it here as well. Detail, number of votes, like that. So now, if I now try to just create one more here, and then try to, there, you'll see that this is on the last place now. Try to log out, log in with code it Stein user. Upvote this again. Now you can see that this has 2 points, but it's still on the last place. But now it should probably be on the first place. So maybe the ordering should be minus votes. Yes, so now it's on the first place because this is now leading. Nice. And if I click this one, this goes here because this has 1 point. Perfect. So if I now wanted to, I can unvote everything. Similar as well. So now we have a lot of the base functionality that Hacker News has. Okay, so that was basically it for this little course. We now have the base functionality for a simple Hacker News clone with new. We can add comments, we can submit new URLs and text, we can also add discussion, and we can upvote them. If you want to take this a little bit further, you can also add upvotes for the comments, you can also add reply for the comments. If you have any questions about today's code, feel free to leave a comment below and answer as soon as I can. See you in the next video.